So good evening and happy Tuesday. Welcome to Dreamstruck. We are so excited to talk to all of you all tonight. So here's the deal. We have been meeting together since January, and you all have been meeting with us. So thank you so much for believing in this program and showing up on Tuesdays and sharing it with others. And we talk about PRV, we talk about parties, we talk about sponsoring. We've talked about, hot topics like compliance. And so tonight we wanted to talk about, I guess, heart work, which is limiting beliefs. Now is like the perfect time before we get into the true grind starting on August the 1st. It's going to we have to put on our seatbelts and get ready for the ride because it's going to be absolutely an amazing fall winter season. But we don't want anyone to limit themselves because of self-sabotage, because of negativity, because of toxic beliefs. So tonight, it's not so much more about PRV. I think many of us, if not all of us, have mastered PRV. We know how to get active. We know how to get our leadership bonus with our 500 PRV. We even know how to reach 2000 PRV. We've talked about all of that. But tonight, what we want to do is break down some walls and break down some barriers. So one of the things I want to do, and we're monitoring the chats, and we're all going to take turns as we normally do. So at any point that there's a pause, I just want to tell the panelists, please don't wait for an invitation, just jump on in and speak. But in the chat, I want to make sure that we start here and be very interactive tonight. Why do you show up every Tuesday? Why do you show up to your business every day? What is your why? What do you want to get out of the Scentsy business? So often I hear things like, I want to be like you, or I want to be like Carol, or I want to be like Amber or Kelly, or whatever the case may be. DPP has it going on. Okay, great. But our question tonight, and I want to see it kind of flow through the chats, what do you want to achieve out of this? There's been so many times, I think that many of us have made posts on our team pages. And some of us have shared our paychecks, not to brag, not to be like, woohoo, look what I got. But the first time that Carol showed her paycheck, I think it was like 3 years ago, I'll never forget it because she made a post and it was in September, the month of September, and income disclosure, please, let's put that in there. But she said, out of curiosity, I want to share my paycheck with you, but I want to know from you, what do you think I earned, last month? And some people put $800. I'll never forget that. Some, were within the ballpark, but a lot of people had no idea the true potential of what you could earn with Scentsy, that you absolutely can earn an income that is very comparable or similar to what lawyers and doctors make. There are YouTube videos out there with Jennifer Anderson, Stacey Barringer talking about their first $10,000 paychecks. Again, not to brag, but if at no point you're working and you don't understand that there's great potential, if you show up and kill some of the negativity and the toxicity, if you don't know what you don't know, then you can't work towards achieving that. Okay, so when we make those posts, sometimes we'll make a post saying, what would you do with an $8,000 paycheck? Or, would you want one? And the post is flooded. And I see the other SSDs, their heads are nodding because they know it's true. They're flooding like, oh my gosh, I would retire my husband. I would get this dream taken care of. I would pay off this debt. I would put my kid in private school. I would do this. I would do that. And then we're like, okay, so next week, show up to Dreamstruck at 7 p.m., an hour of your time. I don't want to do that. Now, I don't want to do that, or follow up with your customers, make a list of 100. Don't want to do that. Don't have time to do that. And let me tell you, there's two lies that I've seen within this business. And one is time. I don't have time, or I don't have the money. And usually the money aspect comes about where, do you want to join Scentsy? I don't have $99, but you can go to Starbucks every day, right? So, again, what I want to do is, again, in the comments here, Kelly, do you mind reading some of these? She said, these are awesome. What are some of the goals that you're reading in the chat? Do you mind mentioning some of
Somebody said they want to pay off their mortgage and that they love these sessions. That was Kath Mulligan. I love the freedom to be able to be home with my son, being able to share things I love with my friends and family. That was from Caitlin Crock. We got, I want financial freedom to stay home with my kids, travel, and family, from Danielle Hawk. Looks like a lot of these are pretty similar. Everybody wants to stay home and work from home. I want to steal one morsel that I can apply to my business that will put me toward my goal of doing Scentsy full-time by the time I retire from my 9-to-5 job in 3 years. Let's talk about goals there, because that has a deadline, which I love. We coach and preach that to everybody every freaking day. She has a deadline, she has a goal, and she has a timeline where she wants to accomplish it by. So that's awesome. That's Kevin and Carol. My why, this will be my career for the rest of my life. I'm not going to give up this freedom. I will be completely debt free soon and never go back. That's our very own Amber Turner. We don't have a deadline on that, Amber. We need a deadline. I want to be able to pay for my children to go to school. Like, who doesn't want to pay for their children to go to school? I mean, my children go for free because I'm too cheap, but some of y'all want to pay for them to go get a better education. In-ground pools, we got the whole 9 yards. In 2 years, I want to be retired from corporate America and be financially free. Paula Lewis. So these are amazing.
So that's awesome. And thank you for reading those out, because you're seeing a rhythm and a trend where people want to pay off their mortgages. They want financial freedom. They want location freedom. They want time freedom. They want freedom. And the thing is, you can have that. You absolutely can have that. Everyone that's sitting as a panelist can attest to something that someone has mentioned that they want. So, you know, there's so many of us that actually have that, the in-ground pool, you know, being debt-free, college, you know, I had my child at 17 and I don't have a college degree, but I earn the type of income as if I did go to college. So now I want to ask a question, and I want you to put it in the chats. What are your limited beliefs? What is limiting you from paying off your mortgage? What is limiting you and strapping you to a 9-to-5 job? What is limiting you from being debt-free? What is limiting you from having, you know, working towards building a ground pool without going into major debt? What is limiting you from working from home and having time freedom and making memories and being there to see your child walk for the first time, talk for the first time, their first tooth come out of their, you know, their gums? What is limiting you? So I want you to put that in the chat as well. And we're going to read off some of those as well. And you're going to find that there's going to be some commonalities as we read that as well. But one of the things that we want to do, we want to kind of take this to court today. We're going to have like a trial, and we're going to have an outcome, and we're going to have a result, because you can show up every freaking Tuesday to Tuesday Night Dream Strap. You can listen to Kelly, you can listen to Emily, you can take notes from Amber, but if you don't take action, then you're limiting yourself. You're limiting your dreams, you're limiting your beliefs, you're limiting your freedom, and you're stunting your future growth. And that's why we show up. Whether you show up or not, we already committed. It might just be 7 of us. We're showing up, you know, because we're not limiting ourselves. And we don't want you to limit yourself either. We know what that freedom tastes like. And that's why we choose, if this is a choice, to show up every week and every day of our business. The other thing too is, well, actually, who's reading the chats? Is there someone on the panel that can read some of the limited beliefs? Okay, Kelly.
Limiting beliefs. What is not limiting me is not being organized to get it all done in one day. Shannon Waldy. I know we all have answers for that. So do you want Teresa to have a panelist answer how they can maybe overcome that, or an idea?
Yeah, we'll get into that. I'm taking notes as you're writing, so we'll run through, and that way we kind of know where to gear our discussion.
Anxiety. Anxiety is limiting me, feeling that I am always a failure with my team. I feel I will never promote. That's Dennis.
Dennis, okay.
Dennis Vinay. Dennis, I know I screwed it up probably. I'm good? Okay, I'm good. Not believing in myself and always knocking myself down when I don't have a good month. Caitlin Crock. Mindset and not being consistent with my follow-up and branching out to get new customers. Paula Lewis. I did see one further up that caught my eye. I needed a larger customer base. So I need to put myself or business out there to get a wider circle? Kevin and Carol. There was one. I'll never be a director. I will never be a director mentality. I mean, how many of us have felt that at one time or another? And what is UCMJ? I want to know too, Carol.
I know. And then there was another one that said being comfortable reaching out to strangers was Ashley Slater. And what's limiting me is not believing in myself and putting the time in. That was from Misha Hera. And I mean, Dawn says I'm terrified to fail. Sherry says mindsets and naysayers. So, which is very common, you guys. That is such a common thread amongst everyone. What did Megan just put? All of the above, plus having so many responsibilities at home. What did, and then, oh, Rhonda says her goal is to become a director by April 31st, SSD by May 31st, 2024. My 5-year anniversary. Scentsy needs to be my only job. What's limiting me is consistency. That's why I am doing the 62 days to success to help me fix this. I don't know what that is, but it sounds great. Oh, Danielle, Uniform Code of Military Justice. Oh, thank you. Oh. Let me leave. I understand. They like you way too much.
So this is all good stuff. And first of all, I want to thank everyone for your transparency, because I think even in this forum, to be truly authentic and that raw, it takes a lot of bravery. So thank you so much. We can't have this discussion without authenticity, right? But I want to be honest with you and tell you that those limited beliefs that you shared with us, they're truth, they're your truth for the moment, but it's also called self-sabotage. And we have a choice every morning when we wake up to self-sabotage our growth, our success, our dreams. And so I was listening to a podcast to a gentleman, and he was saying, you know what me and my wife do every morning? We get up in the morning and we have an affirmation, and we hold on to that and we repeat it, and we have it on a sticky note. Becca Levi is a great mentor to many of us. And I've gone to one of her retreats, and remember walking into the retreat, Carol's been there as well. And there were just sticky notes everywhere you walked, on the mirrors, and it was just affirmations. And so I want you to know that those feelings are lies. They're absolute. There's no other word for it. It's a lie to feed us, to prevent us from growing, to prevent us from getting out of debt, to prevent us from dreaming bigger and having, putting our kids, through college without them being in debt. It is all lies. They're feelings, but it's definitely a lie. And I've heard, I'm never going to get to the top. Dennis said that. I don't, I show up every Tuesday, but I don't feel like I'm director, mentality. Some people say that they have anxiety. I want to let you know, and we're going to share a couple of our stories. I really love all of our stories, but Carol had shared hers from the very beginning. And I was like, we almost didn't have Carol because of, the fear and the thought process and the self-sabotage, right? But we're here, right? And she's birthed, how many of us? 30, how many? 15,000? How many is in your organization? I can't even keep up.
Yeah, we've had, we were just over 15,000 last month, but then some people canceled. So we dropped down to like 1480. I don't know, or 14,800. I don't know. It's still a lot of people.
That is a lot. So, what I want to share is that our feelings are not the truth. And so what we want to do tonight, we want to encourage you all to interrupt that toxic thought process. We have to interrupt it. Not only do we need to interrupt it, but we need to kill it. And you might say, well, Teresa, that's easier said than done. How do we do that? I want to tell you right now, and I'm going to go out on a limb and speak for all the panelists that are on here. Every single day, each one of us deal with limiting beliefs. The difference is who is going to walk with that limited belief and who's going to get up every single day saying, enough. Who is going to do it scared? The same thing with this whole Dreamstruck. This is something I was terrified. I was terrified to ask my friends. I was terrified to do Zoom because of what happened last week, that I was going to sound like a robot, or, I don't know. There was just all these fears. And so even last week, I could have just packed it up and say, I'm not worthy. I'm not capable of doing this. This doesn't happen to other people, but you do it scared, and you pick up your tools and you do it again and again and again. So one of the things I wanted to say is that we have a choice of what we fill our brains with. And there's a max capacity. So if every single day you wake up and you walk with the belief that I cannot be a director, I do not have the time, my anxiety won't allow me to do it, I have too much responsibilities, you're filling your mind with negativity, toxic beliefs, and limiting beliefs. And you're not making room for what truly can happen. You're not making, I'm afraid to go live. Do you realize that going live is one of the greatest fears that so many of us have, including us panelists? That is like one of the biggest, fears that people have, to go live. But success says in our industry that if you go live, if you tell a story, if you bond with your customers, if you bond with your team members, if you just simply communicate, even from a live forum, that it can advance you. And people know that, but you allow your brains to say, but I can't do it, and I won't do it. I'm going to do it tomorrow, and tomorrow never comes. We have to stop that, and we have to make an agreement today that we're going to interrupt the toxic thought patterns. So I want to kind of toss this back over, and we're going to make our rounds to some of the other panelists, but I'm kind of curious, what are some of the limiting beliefs that you deal with on a regular basis, even as an SSD, that you still have to walk and crush every single day to get up and have a successful organization? And anybody can jump in and go first.
Well, for me, I often, it's the comparison game, right? Social media is the worst. There are sometimes I just have to like dip out of social media for a week. I'm not someone that you'll see with constant stories in my feed. I mean, I might have a good day where I have more than 5, but I'll tell you, you won't see those tiny little toothpick marks because I've got 20 or 40 slides a day. That's just not me. That wouldn't be authentic to me, and it wouldn't be something that I'd want to show my team. Now, I'm not putting down anyone who does do that. That's just not who I am. And I can sense, I can feel when I need a break, because I get almost over, like, what's the term called? You get over sensitized when there's, you're taking too much in. So anyways, I just had to take a break. But that comparison is real, because as SSDs, the work never stops. We sort of feel like we always have to lead by example, which, all of us would agree that that's true. We would never ask something of any of you on our team, something that we wouldn't be willing to do. However, that doesn't mean that we're always going to succeed. And if I'm being 100% authentic and transparent with you tonight, I didn't earn keep growing, keep flowing at all, whatever it's called. I sold, I sponsored, I did my best to mentor the people that I sponsored during that incentive period. They got my welcome email. They got invited to set up a call. I even went the extra mile to put them all in a group chat and just remind them, because when I could see that there wasn't a whole lot of activity happening, I reached out and I put them in a group chat together. And so I just reminded them of the different LTOs and different launches we had coming up to kind of excite them, thinking that maybe they'd reach out. And it fell flat. So it wasn't a lack of my effort. It was just, it didn't result in what I wanted. And so sometimes when I fail, because I guess you can say I didn't earn the incentive, so I failed at that. But is it going to deter me from continuing to work? No, because I can't speak for the other panelists, but my family and I have been pretty much solely living off my Scentsy income since 2014. I was a director then. And any of you that are directors know that not many directors make enough that they can sustain an entire family on it. I mean, obviously, you know, I, as a director, and I always had high sales. So I had anywhere between, I don't know, in a low month, 800, and this is when I still lived in the US. So 800, but I had as much as 2,000 in a month, but that didn't include what I had to reserve for taxes. That didn't, you know, hold money back for business expenses. So when you have a mortgage to pay, 2 children to feed, car payments and insurance, that $2,000 goes pretty quick. And so I don't have a whole lot of, or I didn't back then have a whole lot of luxuries, but I was able to, you know, I was able to provide for my family until my husband, because he was military and we had a really rough transition when he first got out. But then, you know, things got better, but it took time. And had I said to myself, I'll never get past director, I'll never get through this rough patch, I just need to go back to work. And that was a conversation we had, because up until that point, my husband's income pretty much provided all of our needs. You know, we received, any of you who are military or married to someone in the military know, you know, we received a housing allowance, we received a food allowance, we received free medical, well, it wasn't free medical, but you know what I mean. We got medical insurance, plus he had, you know, his regular pay. So a lot of our needs were met there. So when I had my Scentsy income, it was kind of extra, like it would pay for the kids to do things, or for us to pay off a credit card, or to, you know, whatever. And so when that shift happened, I was faced with, you know, I doubted whether or not I had the ability to make my Scentsy business really go all the way. I thought, oh gosh, you know, this money is great, but is it enough to really make us like, can we survive on this? So, but because my children were so young, and like Teresa, I don't have a college degree. So, you know, I knew that going into the workforce, I would be getting probably minimum wage or just above that. And I would basically be working to pay daycare. And you know, my husband was like, why would you do that? Like, you might as well just stay home, try to push Scentsy, and, you know, that way you can be home with the kids and, you know, all that. So I had no choice. It's funny, you know, you don't realize how strong you are until being strong is the only choice you have. And that was, you know, I had for a short time, a very limiting belief that I didn't think I could do it, but I just did it. So, you know, that's my story. And I have stories I tell myself all the time. And I'm one of those people, like Teresa was saying, go live. I go live in my VIP group a little bit, but not on my main Facebook as much as I should. And I know, and I recognize that. So that's something I'm going to work on. But yeah, don't let some of those things that you're thinking hold you back, because someone else can relate to your story. And when you share that, you give somebody else permission to do the same. So
I'm glad that you shared all that. And actually, you know, I think you've gotten a lot better with going live, to the fact where you have even been singing, like, personally, and your voice is so beautiful. And I know that it has touched, you know, people just to hear. I was like, gosh, I didn't know that she had those lungs, or that, you know, or that talent and stuff. And your fear would say, don't do it, don't go live, I don't look, or whatever the case may be. You look amazing, sound amazing. And so I just want to encourage you, you know, to continue to go live. But one of the things that I also want to say is, you're not the only one that didn't earn, you know, the keep going, keep growing incentive. And it doesn't matter what your title is, whether you're SSD, whether you're essential consultant. Sometimes you earn it, sometimes, you know, you don't. But one thing I want to make clear tonight is, whatever you earn, whatever you do, it does not identify who you are. It doesn't identify who you are as a person. Emily is a great person. There's other people that didn't earn it, and they're the best of the best that I learned from. But one of the things where they interrupt the pattern is that they keep showing up. Because they didn't earn the incentive, it's not like they're like, well, I guess my positive streak with Scentsy is over. She's still here. You know, she's still leading her team. She's still, you know, trying to interrupt patterns to say, okay, we have another incentive coming up. What can I do differently? You know, and maybe some of it is going live. You know, they say communication is key in a marriage. I believe communication is key in a marriage, but it's also very key in a business relationship as well. If you want to be married to someone, but you don't want to talk to them, you don't want to, you know, hear anything from them. That's not a marriage, that I don't know what that is. And the same thing goes in our business. Going live and building that bond and that relationship and getting past that fear with our team members helps build success. So I wanted to share that's, whatever your results are, it's definitely not your identity. So gosh, there was something else I was going to say too. And I forgot. So I'll let someone else jump on, because I know that we were going around about limiting beliefs that we carry with us, today in our businesses, and how do we interrupt those thought patterns.
Yeah. Okay. I'll go next. Yeah. Y'all let me know if I'm choppy. So limiting beliefs. Yes. Very real struggle. I am real good about getting up in my head. Anxiety. I saw someone mention it. And yay, Melissa, for turning your camera on. Yeah, I'm going to have to scroll through and come find you in a bit. Anxiety is something that I was diagnosed with several years ago, was put on medicine for it, like the whole shebang. So I get it. I'm not on medicine anymore. I do believe Scentsy full-time has forced me away from that, because like Emily said, she doesn't have a choice. I don't have a choice. If we don't do the things, our family doesn't eat. If I don't do the things, I go back to teaching. There's nothing wrong with teaching, but I don't want to do it anymore. Like I don't. I enjoy the freedom that I have. And like I put in the chat, I'll fight for it. Like I will do whatever I've got to do to keep this freedom going. But lately, and this is just me being totally transparent, and Odie and I have been talking about it. There's this thing known as imposter syndrome, if you guys have ever heard about it. And it's basically like, oh, I'm choppy. Crap.
No, you sound fine.
Okay, sorry. I was like, I'm gonna stop.
It was just
so I promoted.
So you're fine.
Okay. Y'all let me know if it gets bad again. I promoted to superstar director last May, so just a little over a year ago. And speaking of mindset and limiting beliefs, like Carol told me when I was going for it in those final few crazy days, speak it into existence. And that's what made it real to me. And that's when I got over myself and just put it out there. So I believe there's huge power in not only having a goal, but putting it out there for everybody. So I put it out there for everybody, and I was like, all right, man, there's, no turning back. And I got it. And then I was like, well, that was fun, but I'm probably not going to be able to sustain it. I've sustained it. I've had 3 months since I promoted, full transparency, that I have not hit paid a title, and that sucks, and it sucks, and it sucks, and it sucks. But I am not going to use it to get discouraged. I am going to use it to figure out what the heck I need to be doing. And that's what I've been working really, really hard on lately, because I don't want to be like a hashtag pandemic promoter. And then that was that. Like, no, this is my calling. Like, this is what the Lord has brought me to 100%. And if I am struggling, then that just means that I have room to grow. And I still, like, it's real easy to look back over. I teach my group to compare year over year, to look at numbers from 2020 compared to numbers now and be like, well, we're declining, like I'm going down, because my group has been down the past couple months over 2020. But the reality of the situation is we just came out of a pandemic, or we're coming out of a pandemic. I know we're not all the way there yet, but you have to kind of take that into consideration, and you have to compare it to 2019 as well. And so I have to get myself out of the mindset of imposter syndrome, like you're not really an SSD, you're not really going to be able to sustain this, your business is going down. Like, no, that's false. Stop those thoughts from coming into my mind and figure out what I need to do. So I've been diving in, y'all. I've been diving deeper into my business than I ever have before, because I'm determined. Like, I'm determined. So you can use those negative thoughts that creep in your mind, and they do it every single day, especially if you're someone that's dealt with anxiety or depression. You can cave into them, or you can stop them in their tracks and turn them around into something that's going to benefit you rather than hurt you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Amber. And basically, what Amber and Emily just shared is that they are superstar directors. They've made it to the top, I don't know, less than 1% of the company. But every day that they get up, their brain tries to trick them and, about their self-worth, about their value, about their ability. But they fight that every single day. So that way they can lead their teams and make sure that they're reaching their dreams and their goals. It's not that we're immune from the limiting beliefs. It's just that we interrupt them every single day. So I want to thank you also, Amber, for being transparent. And one of the things I put in the chat is I'm encouraging everybody to turn on your cameras. And there's a reason for it, because oftentimes I find that people are afraid to go live because they don't like their appearance. They think their nose is too big, or their hair, they may not have long hair like someone, or, I don't know. Sometimes we hear different excuses. Well, I'm eating dinner. So what? So what that you're eating dinner? Who cares, that you're doing that? Have the confidence to turn your camera on. If you're at the playground with your kids, so what? Amber is outside on a rocking chair watching her kids, conduct a lemonade stand. It doesn't matter. What matters is interrupting the belief. So you can listen to this all day or tonight, and you can get off of here and say Dreamstruck was on fire, but were you on fire? Or were you hiding? Were you still hiding? Did you listen to us for an hour, pour out our hearts, and you still walk away without taking action? Don't wait until this call ends to take action. Take it now. Turn off the camera. If you're at work, so what? You're on here anyway, right? It doesn't matter. The point that we're trying to do is it starts right now. Take action for yourself. If you can't turn on your camera, then how are you going to go live? How are you, we're going to have hardships. There's going to be, all kinds of things that we're going to encounter. I personally don't like messaging. I try to follow up with all my team members every month, and I can send 50 messages out or 100, and maybe 3 people might respond. That's not comfortable for me at all. I feel rejection. I feel all kinds of ways, but it doesn't stop me until someone tells me don't ever message me again. I still reach out to them with love to let them know I'm here to support them. That's me breaking through, my uncomfortableness, if you will. And so even right now, I'm not reading the chats, but I'm pretty sure that there's probably 10 chats of someone telling me why their camera is off. Don't care why it's off. What I care about is you interrupting your toxic thought pattern in your mind that's trying to convince you why your camera needs to be off. All right. It's just more to it than just the camera. It's actually the act and taking action. So thank you, Rhonda. I think I saw Alicia Shabazz on my team. Her camera was off. Girl, turn that camera on. I saw Danielle Hawk. Turn that camera on. Misha, I don't care if your son is with you, your husband, whatever. I don't care if you have a laundry basket in your lap. Turn your camera on and interrupt the pattern tonight. The thing is, we all have dreams. We shared our dreams at the beginning. And sometimes in order to get to our dreams, it can be very uncomfortable. I was listening to our church sermon on Sunday, and our pastor was talking about, sometimes in life when we go through the fire, we spend so much time avoiding the fire. We spend so much time avoiding going live. We spend so much time in excuses of, as far as why we can't do what we need to do to be successful, to get out of debt, to pay off our mortgage. We spend so much time making up those excuses that we can't ever reach our dreams. And sometimes we need to go through the fire. Sometimes we need to message 100 people and only get 3 responses back, and do it again and again and again. Okay. Sometimes we have to go live and sound like a freaking robot, and everyone's looking at you like you're crazy. Sometimes we have to go through that and learn and get back up, and it makes us stronger the next go around, right? Sometimes we have to fail. Sometimes we do, and then sometimes people skate through. I don't know how they do it, but they do. The point that I'm trying to make is that your dreams that you have, the ones that you shared with us at the beginning of this call, your dreams have to be bigger than your uncomfortable situations. They just do. If going live makes you uncomfortable, then you have to tell yourself and ask yourself, is going live greater than paying off my mortgage? Because if it is, then don't do it. Then change your goals, change your aspirations, and change your dreams. If, I'm afraid to share this on my timeline because I don't know what people are going to think about me. If you're worried about putting a cloud warmer on your timeline because what people are going to think about you because you're sharing it, If that cloud warmer and sharing it is bigger than you stopping your 9 to 5, then change your dreams. That's what it's going to come down to, because, at the end of the day, you have to decide what's holding you back, what excuses are holding you back, because the dreams are there. There are other people that are going for it, that are living it, that are sitting in it right now. And you can be too. That's one thing about this business, is that there isn't a cap, there is no limitation, there is no prejudice, there's nothing. The only prejudice that we have is within ourselves. The prejudice that tells us I'm not good enough, that I could never be a director, that I could never go live. Yes, you can. I can never turn on my camera. Come on now. So
I just want to jump in. I don't mean to interrupt, but I do that. Yeah, Teresa brings out amazing points. I want you guys to think about how fun, or how, let's be honest, how many of you would show up to this training if we were here but we kept our cameras off, if all you saw was a black screen with Emily Goodnett talking? It just does not pack the same punch. And so you guys have to consider that with your friends, with your followers, with your fans. Now, you do not have to go live talking about Scentsy all the time. We kind of went down this rabbit hole. Going live tends to be something that gives people a lot of fear, which is why Teresa's talking about, but this really goes with anything. You don't have to talk about Scentsy all the time. It can be, so one thing that I do, I go live and I get a monthly subscription box from Snack Crate, and I do it with my family, my husband and my kids, and we kind of give like our first reactions to like snacks we get, and people love it. We get tons of interaction and it shows up, and of course people can go back and watch the replay, but it changes the algorithm, so people start seeing your stuff. I mean, that's not really why I do it, but it's a nice added benefit. But people kind of get to know us. And remember, going back to, people do business with people that they know, like, and trust. Allow people to see a part of your life that isn't just being a Scentsy consultant. They get to say, oh my gosh, this girl, Emily, she's so fun. She does this. Yeah, she's my Scentsy lady, but she does karaoke. She does, she's got these super cute kids that, they do the Snack Crate together. Like, she's just they know more about me than the fact that I sell Scentsy, is what I'm saying. And the same goes, like I said, for the panelists. If we all kept our screens black, I doubt half of you would show up, because you'd be like, this is lame. Nobody wants to look at black screens. And so we're just asking that you guys do the same. We don't want to look at black screens. We want to see your faces. We want to know that you're nodding. We want to know that you're saying hi to us. We want to know that you're getting something. I love, when other people are talking, I love going through and I love looking at people's faces. And when I see you guys smiling or nodding or taking notes, I know that you get it and that you're here. And, I feel like I've gotten to know a few of you just through these chats. And I mean, had I not agreed or been welcomed by Teresa to be a panelist, I wouldn't know some of you. And like, I know, for example, Dennis, I've gotten to talk with him a few times. I wouldn't even know him if it weren't for this Dreamstruck. So I'm grateful for that. And, I invite any of you who are on Dreamstruck that, want to add me as a friend, you're welcome to do that. But I'm just so grateful for this. And it's more than just, and that's kind of what's going to happen when you take the time to go live and share parts of your life. So another thing I wanted to share, and I don't mean to monopolize, but really quick, if you guys haven't heard of him, some of you probably have, but there is a sort of a network marketing. There's a lot of them, but this particular one came to my mind because I've heard him talk about limiting beliefs before. His name is Bob Heilig, and he has a podcast, and it's called Your Virtual Upline, and he actually talks about it quite a bit. I did his paid program, Legacy Leadership, for a while, and it wasn't that it wasn't good. It was just that I wasn't able to keep up with it. So I discontinued it, but I would highly recommend it for anyone who feels like they kind of need that extra accountability. But part of that, going into that, there's this formula for transformation, and he talks about limiting beliefs and red light stories. So in conjunction with that, he talks about what is your red light story, and that red light story is, well, It's the thing that's stopping you from taking action in your business. And so he kind of helps you overcome that. And actually, I was just searching. If you want to search it, I don't know how to do it on an Android because I have an iPhone. But if you go to your podcast app and just search limiting beliefs, your virtual upline, there's one that it will filter out, and it'll bring up episode 221, and it says, did your parents help create your limiting beliefs? So sometimes people find it interesting to sort of figure out the why behind maybe why they're experiencing or feeling the way that they do. And so I'm trying to see, it's 33 minutes long. You can listen to it while you're folding laundry, doing dishes, working on customer mail, labeling product, whatever. But it's free. His podcast is free, but it might give you some insights, and it might make you look at it from a different lens or a different perspective once you kind of listen to what he has to say. But he's got some great content if you want to hear more about those types of, about limiting beliefs and things. So
and
I just
Emily,
wanted to
sharing that in our Dreamstruck, like a link to what you were just referencing, that we can share it on our team pages. That would be amazing. At the end of the day, we have a choice to think. If you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. If you think that you can work towards getting out of debt, you absolutely can. Eleanor had put in the chats, I don't think that you want to see me in my PJs. I don't think that you've listened to us. I just want to be very clear, because we do. We absolutely do. We knew Dreamstruck was coming on tonight at 7:00. We got to choose what we wanted to wear. And if your desire, your clothing is your PJs, we do. We're saying we'd rather see you in whatever capacity, because that's real, versus a black screen. Okay. So, we do. When I see the black screen, I see fear. I see busyness. I see lack of confidence. I see limiting beliefs. I see all those things. And what we want to do is we want to see your face. Why don't you show up for yourself? If you can't show up for yourself, because what we're doing tonight, this is for you. It's not for anybody else. And if you can't show up for yourself, then how are you going to show up for your team? If you can't go live for yourself, to show off that cloud warmer, how can you go live for your team? You can. But if your mind is telling you that you can't, and that's the action that you're taking, then you're absolutely right. You get to choose. So we're encouraging you to show up for yourself. And when you start showing up for yourself, when you start showing up for your team and moving along with what society and, everything is saying is working for success in business, that's when you're going to start seeing growth. That's when you're going to start seeing change. Okay. But if you do the same thing over and over again and expect change, that's why you're not moving. So I want to toss this over to Kelly. Kelly, what are some of your limiting beliefs? You come across very confident on social media. You and I are friends, and I see that you are a boss lady to heart, but I also know that you have limiting beliefs. What are some of your struggles that you have to battle and interrupt every day?
One of the big ones, and it's more recent, and it's funny, is I can't inspire anyone. And I wonder what other leaders go through that, because you lead and you lead and you lead with your heart, but eventually you run out of steam or you run out of energy, because as a leader, and I'm talking about you are a leader at lead consultant or above, where do you get your food from? How do you eat when you are constantly giving everybody else your plate? And us as leaders, we have to figure out where we are going to get our nourishment from, and that we have to stop. And I know we touched on this a while back, but it goes back to the little bit of self-care, because it's like, if we're not eating and we're not nourishing ourselves, we run dry. And so the limiting belief, I've had a lot, and I've had a really crazy month. I moved, and I had a granddaughter, and I had a friend die, and every excuse that I could have came up with not to show up, it happened. I can come up and I can tell you I'm in my pajamas. I can tell you I'm not going to show my face, but you know what? I have people that depend on me. I have my kids that depend on me to put food on the table. So you know what? I'm the one that goes to the grocery store. They're looking up to me like, how's mom going to pay the house payment? Or whatever the case is. Some of you shared you want to put your kids in school. Okay, but how are you going to pay for that if you're not showing up? How are you going to get them there because you don't have any gas? And so a lot of the times, you guys might not even realize this, but your leaders often look for encouragement and motivation from you as well. And I know my team feeds me, and that's where I get it from. And I often look to my friends. Like if I'm having a really, really hard time, I'll be like, Teresa, I'm having a really hard time. Can you look at this? Or, you know, run ideas. Carol, I have no idea how to run this report. Can you help me? And it's like our source of resources is so great and plentiful that we can just tap into our computer, our workstation, our phones. We can call up pretty much anybody in our phone and we can get fed that way. And Teresa just like literally went off on a tangent and fed me, and she didn't even realize it. She's like, turn it on. I don't care what you're doing. So you know what I did? I started to eat my damn cold dinner that's sitting right here because I was too afraid to eat my dinner on TV or whatever this thing is, this video Zoom. So I start eating. I don't care what anybody thinks about me eating on the screen because, you know, that is another fear. I don't have time. I'm sitting at my dinner table right now. The whole dinner table was full listening to Teresa, and my husband, he's like, oh, Teresa's going off right now. I was like, yeah. And thank God I had my Zoom off. But you know what? It's those type of things that feed our soul, and we have to continuously get fed. Yesterday, I'm going to give you guys an example. When I don't think that I'm inspiring somebody, when I don't think that I'm feeding my team and I'm not motivating them, there's something that is going to show you the way and the light that's going to let you realize that you were on the right track. That might be a message from a teammate saying, you know what, I just listened to Dreamstuck last night and you really inspired me. Yesterday, I went to a friend's pool and this boy came up to me and he said, and I don't know this boy from Adam, and he says, my mom's one of your fans. What? And I giggled, what do you mean she's one of my fans? He goes, I know you because of your voice. Your name's Kelly, right? I'm like, yeah. He's like, my mom listens to you all the time. And I'm like, really? What's your mom's name? And he tells me her name's Michelle. And so I'm like, oh, okay, you know, and I'm a first and last name. And he tells me, he says, I have to tell my mom, I have to go downstairs and tell her to turn you down because I can't hear my Xbox. But you know what? It told me that Michelle listens to my training videos, and Michelle has me on a lot. So you know what? She must really like listening to me. And I'm helping her, I'm feeding her, I'm nourishing her, and nourishing her so much that people in her household know me by my voice. Like I had no idea who this kid was. And I went away from that. Like yesterday, I was feeling this way too. I'm like, you know what? I need to really show my face. I need to get in and I need to get live because I've been absent for a couple of days. With everything crazy going on. We got the 4th of July weekend. I really wanted my team to enjoy their 4th of July holiday. I wanted them to take a break. I wanted them not to have to be Scentsy people all the time. I want them to show their real life and what the hell's going on. And what did I do? I shared what was going on in my life. So all weekend, you guys saw whatever the hell I was doing all weekend, trying to stay busy. I didn't post one Scentsy product at all because you know what? Sometimes, like we said, Emily, we have to do other things. We have to show them who we are outside of that. And it was genius. I have a box right here waiting to go live with. My little thing is going with my Stitch Fix and having people help me pick out my outfits that I don't even like. I don't even choose them half the time, but I let people vote and they feel included and discussing my wardrobe. And it gives them ideas. So it's like Emily has a crate box. I got a Stitch Fix. Everybody has a little niche in life. We have Scentsy products, we have families, we have lives, but at the end of the day, it's like, who's going to inspire us? And then are you that person? Are you that person inspiring other people? Are you the person on your timeline that's positive? And you never know who's watching. What else did I have? The sabotaging. If we would have listened to our beliefs, a lot of our stories are very similar. I know me and Teresa's probably, our stories go neck and neck with each other. We were both teen moms, but what if we listened to those people that said we would just be another statistic and we would never make it? What if we listened to the people that said, you know what, you're not going to get a college education or you're never going to make 6 figures a year because that's for the people that have an 8-year degree. What if we listened to them? We would not be sitting here talking to you now. And I'm trying to think of the other ones. Your upbringing. What about your upbringing? Maybe your parents didn't graduate school. Maybe your parents never went to college. Maybe you have it in your mind right now that this is all you're ever going to be. And we're here to tell you, like, we've beaten the odds. I'm pretty sure every single panelist on here has beaten the odds of something that they were not supposed to because we're driven and we show up every day. So if you're the person listening, I want you to think about what it is, whether it's your upbringing, whether it's your area, whether it's you were a teen mom, whether it's, you know, you grew up poor, whether it's you live in subsidized housing right now. Those are all odds that you can beat, but you're going to have to show up every day and you're going to have to show your face and you're going to have to get out there and you're going to have to grind because you cannot cheat it. It's like the grind and the hustle know how much time and effort you put in. And if you're cheating the clock, it knows you're cheating the clock. You can't cheat the clock. It knows how much you've invested. It's like there's always eyes on you. And if your check isn't what it should be, then you need to go back to work, and you need to work more than 5 minutes a day. Or if your check's only $100 and that's okay for you for a month, then that's totally cool. But if you want that $500 check, then you're going to have to invest more than 5 minutes a day or 10 minutes a day or whatever it is. And you need to relook at how much time you're really investing. Am I going to invest 5 minutes in one post in a month, and I'm supposed to come up with this enormous income? And I have people on my team that tell me that I'm not making any money. I don't have any customers. And I go to your page and you haven't posted anything all month. You have to show up to work. If you don't show up, you're not going to get paid. And that's like the bottom line of it. You're not showing up. I can look on your page right now and there's one post. Sorry, honey, you're not going to get nothing but $5, something like that. Not even that. So I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you're not going to make money if you don't show up. That's all I got.
Amen. And we're going to flip this over to Carol, but Kelly brought up some really good points. And one of the points that I want to make is that, you know, I think I messaged Carol or Kelly or one when I got my first $10,000 paycheck. And I was like, oh my God, because I was told when I got pregnant at 17 by so many that I was going to be on welfare, that I was going to be a statistic, that I was going to be on food stamps, that I would not be a good mother because I said I was going to work 3 jobs. How was I going to be present to nurture my children? That no one was going to marry me because I had a child out of wedlock. The church didn't want to accept me because I had a child out of wedlock. Like everybody just tossed me away. And I could have just ran with all that and went and, you know, to live in the projects or what. And there's nothing wrong with any of those things that I just mentioned. Whatever you have to do to come up, then, you know, by all means, it's just that you don't have to get stuck there and you don't have to stay there. But one of the things that I wanted to say is that we can conquer, you know, we can beat all of those things, whatever people tell us. And it's not even what people tell us. It's not even what whoever told us, whether it was your parents. I grew up in an alcoholic household as well. Okay. It's what we tell ourselves that matters the most. If you believe what the world says, and if you believe what you say, that's the most impactful thing, because all that matters at the end of the day is what are you telling yourself? What is your mind telling you? We heard earlier that I have anxiety, that I'm very shy, that I'm very introverted. And let me tell you right now, there are people on this panelist right now that I think I have ADHD. I think I squirrel all the time. That's one of my reasons why I didn't want to do this Zoom. It's why I don't want to, you know, go live, because I know I can have a list of things every Wednesday, what I want to talk about with my team. And when I get on there, I'm talking about flying a kite. Like that's how my brain works. But I get back up there and I go live and I try it again. Okay. The point that I'm trying to make is that if you're being shy and being introverted and having anxiety is greater than you wanting to be successful, then you can't expect to promote. You can't expect to get paid at title. You have to choose. The shyness is going to be there. The anxiety is probably going to be there. You know, the limited belief is going to be there. But are those beliefs greater than your dreams that we talked about at the beginning of this call? And the other thing that I'm going to end with is whether you make $5, $500, $5,000, or $10,000, those beliefs do not change. That's what we're telling you tonight. The beliefs don't change, but what does have to change, the money might change, but it doesn't mean that all of a sudden you're not going to be introverted or you're not going to be shy or that $10,000 is going to cure you from your anxiety. It's not. But you have the ability to change your thought pattern and how you walk in that. And that's what we're doing. Kelly, Emily, Amber, Carol, Debbie, everybody, we all struggle. But we get up every day and we interrupt the thought process. So I'm going to toss this over to Carol. Carol lifts legit like 1,000 pounds a day in the gym. She can lift grown men. And so you're probably thinking if you follow her on Instagram, she can't be afraid of anything. She has no fears. But let's hear from Carol.
Okay, so I have had a ton of fears. And I think I speak a lot, and I can't remember if it was on here or on a different call. I have a love-hate relationship with social media because we all play the comparison game. When we see these perfect pictures, we see these perfect people, we see all these cute flyers that people are doing in this business, and you think, I don't have those skills, I can't do that. and, or I'm not good at that. So then you're constantly belittling yourself because you're looking at these other people who either they have a really great talent or they paid somebody to do it, right? There was a social media post the other day about how she watched a mom at a swimming pool taking her kids to get the perfect shot and all this stuff. And then she was like, let's go. And the kid was like, can you play with me in the pool? And she's like, no, we got the shot, we need to go. And I was thinking, what kind of life is that to live? And so I was just like, I want to be able to go and hang out with my kid and play in the pool and not worry about that perfect shot, that perfect thing on social media. So yes, I post that I lift a lot of weight. And I'll tell you, when I watch those videos, all I see is like my stomach roll and like all these things that are so negative. So I think, you know, you can be as powerful as you want to be, but fear is always going to be there. So one of the things, and some of you guys have listed tonight, that, you know, I am scared to turn on my camera. So fear, what is fear? Does anybody know what fear is? Do you know, have you heard the acronym? False evidence appearing real. Okay, so fear is when you think something's going to happen. I don't care. I could literally take my bra off right now on camera. I mean, like, I'm not going to, but I could and show you that my boobs are no longer up here. They're down here. Like, you wouldn't even see them anymore if I took my bra off. Here's the deal. Like, I could be party, you know, business on top and party on the bottom. I could literally have no pants on right now. Although I did get up earlier and you saw that I did. But if I didn't have pants on, you guys wouldn't even know. And here's how your perception is your reality. So what you perceive is real, is what you believe. And so fear, one of my friends a long time ago says, you can do it as, you can, I can't use the word. So, because we have kids, I saw some people saying my kid's next to me. So I'm not going to say the word, but you can F everything and run, or you can face everything and rise. So what do you want to do in this business? Do you want to run the other way, or do you want to run towards what you want? So I wanted to run towards what I wanted. I knew I was meant for more. I knew that there was something missing in my life and that I needed to do something else. I couldn't tell you what it was. I couldn't, you know, I wasn't sure what that was until this business, till Scentsy came along. And for some reason, this clicked for me. There is a business out there for everyone. And I doubted myself so much at the beginning, so much so that, like Teresa said, I almost quit twice. And I was almost canceled too, let's put it that way. I mean, I was almost terminated. So, you know, for not being, but I do want to commend all of you that have turned your camera. We are up to almost 3 pages. We have 4 pages total. We are up to almost 3 pages of people with your cameras on. So I want to commend you for doing something that was scary, something that was awkward. And that's the first step. Even if you turn your camera on for a short little while, you're taking the step needed. To work this business, to achieve great success, to achieve anything in life is taking multiple tiny steps, changing 1% of everything that you do in this business. So what's one extra thing that you can do every single day to change the trajectory of your business? If you're trying to work out, if you're trying to eat better, if you're trying to lose weight, you can make one small change every day to start with and make a difference. You can drink more water. You can eat less things. You can actually just put your shoes on and try to go to the gym. I mean, you know, so that's one thing different that you did before. When you actually go to the gym, just walking into the door of the gym and walking back out, you've made it another small step. If you go live on your Facebook page and show one product, tell them how much you love one bar, make it 30 seconds. That's more than you've ever done before in your business. What is one thing? If you follow up with one additional customer, if you reach out to one new person and talk about Scentsy or have one more opportunity conversation, you can change your business, but it must be done consistently. And so how do you want to how do you want to end this year? We are 6 months that we've been through already 6 months of this year. We have 5 additional months. We are coming up on the 5 most busiest months of our year. We are now going to have Harry Potter starting tomorrow, pre-sales. Like, there is a whole lot of things that are coming down the hatch that you're not ready for. Y'all are not ready, okay? But you need to get ready. But what do I want to do to get ready? Stop thinking you're less than. You are absolutely worthy. There is everything inside of you to be the best consultant you can be. And you don't need to know everything. You need to do things. Okay. So knowledge is power. Yes. But knowledge can also be crippling, because when you think you have to learn everything or know how to do everything the best, it prevents you from doing. So in my thing is, progress is action. And so if you're making progress in your business, you are taking actions every day, small steps consistently in this business. Don't think you have to do something grand. Don't think that you have to do, I've got to have 60,000 parties before the end of the year. No. Like, if you had 6 parties before the end of the year, I feel like you're doing great. Especially since we just went through a whole year of like not having parties. And so, let's talk about how to break your goals down. You want to be sponsoring 1-2 people a month. You want to be having 1 to 2 parties a month. You want to be finding 1 or 2 new people to add to your list. It's just these little things in your business. And so people think, I've got to do all this stuff. I've got to be the best Instagram influencer, and I've got to be able to do this, and I need to do 1 reel every day, which I guess is the thing that they say you should do right now. I think reels suck. They're a waste of my time. I hate them, but I'm learning how to do them because I need to reach new people, right? So how, yes, you have to learn new things, but you don't have to be great at it. My last reel sucked balls. It was terrible, but it's like, I'm just learning new things. And so you guys, face everything and rise. We are no longer going to have fear. We are going to face it. We are going to be better, and we are going to take baby steps. And you guys, don't work this business for anyone except for yourself. You are in a race with only yourself. You're not competing against me, not competing against Teresa. There's no competition in this thing. You are in this to rise for yourself and to become the best consultant you can be and to build your organization. When I started this business, I did not think I would have 15,000 people in my organization. It was just me, little old me, that bought a kit, that decided to try something cool with something that smelled good. It was a baby company. We literally talked more than we sold, and here we are. And so this is not something that happened overnight. This was continually step after step and not quitting. So, and continuing to improve myself. This business is a personal development business. The best thing you can do for yourself is to develop yourself personally and become the best version of yourself. Whatever that is for you, whatever that looks like, but don't settle. Stop settling in your life. Too many people settle and think, oh, this is the best I'm going to get. No, it's not. You can have anything your brain can imagine. You want a dream house like Kelly just bought? Do it. You want a dream shop like I just built? Build it. You want to quit your job and do Scentsy full time like Teresa and Amber did? Do it. Like Teresa just built a pool. She wanted an in-ground pool, baby. Made it happen. She bought a new house too. You can have anything that you want. You just have to be like, how bad do I want it? What am I willing to sacrifice? What am I willing to do? And who am I willing to ignore? And I think that is the biggest thing. Who am I willing to ignore to make this happen? Your friends, your family, people that are close to you. Unfortunately, they might drag you down like a bucket of crabs. I saw somebody post something about a bucket of crabs the other day. one crab tries to get out of the bucket, the rest of them are going to grab that crab down and pull it back down. And so sometimes people who are closest to you will be the biggest naysayers. And unfortunately for me, I've had to overcome that multiple times. My accountant told me to quit this business, to put Scentsy to bed because it was never going to do anything. No one I've ever known has made money in direct sales. Well, now I want to take my 1099 and shove it up her butt because I want to be like, check this out, because this is what I make now. And I think I make more than you do. And so it's like, I know, right? Yes, let's clap for it. Thank you. Right. But I'm willing to ignore people who say, if somebody tells me I can't do it, oh, now I've just dug in and I'm going to make it happen because you just told me I can't. And so if anyone else is like that, I'll be like, okay, guys, you can't do this business. So just come on, we're done talking tonight. If that's going to make you dig in and work harder, I'll tell you that. I don't want to, but I will tell you that, right? So don't worry, those people are not writing your paycheck. And so you ignore the people that are not writing your check. And you focus on keeping with people who rise you up. You want to hang out with people that make you better, that encourage you, that continue to make you want to be a better version of yourself and work harder. You follow people who have been there. I have seen so many coaches who have actually never worked a direct sale business in their life, and they're teaching people how to, they're trying to coach people and take people's money on how to be the best direct seller. Well, how big was your team? What's funny is I can't even find a coach that will coach me because no one's had 15,000 people in their downline. They've made hundreds of millions of dollars, like in network marketing, but they've never had the amount of people that I do. So yeah, they say they made it. I don't know. Show me your proof. Here's the deal is I've been searching. I can't find a coach to help me be better than what I am because nobody's done it. So literally I am the pioneer. I am the frontier person leading the way, figuring out how do you sustain this business for 15 years. And
maybe you need to start a new business, Carol.
I got a pretty good gig here. Why work any harder than I already do? I'm just kidding.
Pretty soon we're gonna see those sponsored ads where Carol's like,
I know, like, hey, you want to learn how to do things? Talk to me. So, I mean, come on. But I'm serious. But you want to follow people who are where you want to be. So get yourself a mentor, follow people. Don't hang around people who aren't getting paid at title, who aren't doing the things, who aren't working, who just sit there and complain about everything. Don't hang out with those people. You hang out with like us on Tuesday nights, right? You hang out with us because we've been there, we know where you're going, and we want to grab your hand and drag you out of that bucket and get up here and be hanging out with us on the beach, making money while you sleep. That's what we want to do. We want to help you make money while you sleep. And so continue to tune in. Those people that show up and plug in, you guys go up because you apply the things that we tell you. Plus, you need someone to be your cheerleader because the world is full of naysayers. And unfortunately, sometimes it is very hard to ignore them, to drown them out. And there's so much negativity in the news and the media. So stop watching all that and just focus on you and your business and continuing on. So I don't want to take up too much time, but we're already kind of over. Anyway, I think I can step off the soapbox.
And let the church say amen. No, that was really good. That was really good. I knew we were going to go over tonight because this is a topic that, we don't really often talk about. One of the things that I read earlier today is 1% to 2% will take action in general. If you're listening to this and you're, whether you have a team or not, we want to crush that. That is a statistic. I was told that I would be a statistic. I crushed that. I did get married. I do own a home. I do have, more children. I'm not on welfare or any longer, all those things. So the thing is 1% to 2% will take action. And sometimes we see that some people get frustrated because they're like, my team, they don't want to show up. They don't believe me that Dreamstruck is good. They don't, they're not posting, they're not, or what. And that's that goes along with what the statistic says is going to happen. But that doesn't mean that we stop. The moment that you stop growing, like Emily said, you know what, things didn't happen the way I wanted to, but keep going, keep growing. She has to still keep going. She has to still keep growing. She has to continue to sponsor, because the moment that you stop is the moment that your business begins to diminish. And that's what we don't want to have happen. That's why we show up every Tuesday to help you have a thriving business. So I want you all to challenge yourself to wake up every single day and tell yourself, failure is not an option. Failure is not an option. Okay, no matter what it is that happens, no matter what the voice tells you, failure still isn't an option. We still pick back up, and we keep moving with our business. I'm going to ask Debbie Pitts Palmer if she can take us out. I know that we're a little bit over here, but if you don't mind closing us tonight, we do want to see your beautiful face and hear your beautiful voice, and let everyone go after that.
Guys, I hope you can hear me. I hope I
Yeah.
don't sound like a robot. Okay. I got to tell you guys about that fear. Fear is evil. It took me so many years to come forward to do videos. It took me several years. As a matter of fact, I think it took me about 6 years. I continue to see people on YouTube and I watched them. And it was just one thing that got my attention. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Fitbit. When they came out with Fitbit, they had all of these challenges out there on Fitbit. So I opted to join one of the little groups with the challenge on Fitbit because I am big on walking. So one of the challenges was to go live and show people while you're taking the steps. And I thought, if I can go live and take steps on video, why in the world can I go live talking about my Scentsy business or anything else? It was because of the fear. It was the fear that I wasn't going to say the right thing. It was the fear that I wasn't going to look right on camera. It was the fear that people would reject me. So that was the reason why I did not do it. But the people who were in my corner with the Fitbit, it didn't matter. We all came together to do this. That was the goal for us to go live. So it hit me like, if I can go live and do this, I'm going to go live talking about Scentsy. So I started going live in places like Disney. When I earned a Disney trip like 5 years ago, this is when I met Kate Lundquist. And she said, she must be famous if somebody from Scentsy is calling her out going live. But guys, that's when the magic started to happen. Because that particular year, my recruiting went up like crazy because people started hearing me. They started seeing me. My numbers just skyrocketed. But I'm thinking, what if I had done this much sooner? What if I had done it a long time ago? I waited so many years, but I did do it. So it's never too late. It's never too late to step out there and do something you've never done before. So don't worry about it. Just do what you feel like you need to do, even if it's just for 2 minutes. That's it. So you guys just believe in yourself. I mean, I did a video earlier today talking about mascara. I have no eyelashes, guys, none. So I struggle with that. Even taking pictures and everything. My daughter, it just comes natural to her to do her face. I struggle with that. Even if I watch videos, I don't get it. So I decided to take a class because I want to master this. When I go live, I want to look a certain way because I want to feel good about me. So do whatever you feel like you need to do for you. So doing that is going to make me feel good about me. So that's what I got to say, guys. Do it for you.
Thank you. Thank you, DPP. I love that. And I love how your business shifted when you kicked that fear. I want to end on this note, I promise. But this is something that I wrote down earlier today that I really want to share with you. I was working with a teacher that's on my team, actually with a few people. They're really afraid to go live. And I realized transparency that what type of a leader am I if I'm just building followers? If I'm not building and mentoring others to do what I'm doing, then I'm building a following and I'm not building others that can emulate success. And so, the more we kept going back and forth about her going live, I thought about it. I said, when the pandemic hit, you're a teacher, the world had to shift. And the school system and the government said, you need to go live virtually with your class now. And you did it. and the principal didn't tell you how to do it. They didn't tell you the content. You had to build your own content. You had to show up every day. You had to be consistent. And the reason why they had to do that, all the teachers out there that had to do virtual learning this year, is because their paycheck depended on it. What if you had that same concept? They were probably afraid. They probably were shy. They probably had anxiety, but their students depended on them to show up to the class virtually every single day. And so their paycheck depended on it. Why isn't your Scentsy paycheck as valuable? You know, so why don't you work your business, your Scentsy business, as if your paycheck depended on it? Why not work your Scentsy business as if your dreams depended on it? And that's what I want to leave everyone with tonight. Work your business as hard as you need to. You know, the limited beliefs do not serve you. And so what we want you to do tonight is to get those out of your brain every day. And you have to work to do that. It's not a button that you can say, turn off, turn on. Every day you have to conquer that. So that way you can make room to focus on the success, focus on the dream. Don't focus on why you don't want to go live, you know, why, you know, you're afraid to move up. And don't focus on trying to find evidence as far as why you can't be a director. Anybody can be a director. You know, whether you're in a wheelchair, whether you have special needs, whatever the case may be, we have it all. And so there's room at the table for you. All right. So that's all that we have tonight. Sorry that we went over. I knew going into this that we were going to go over because it's something we don't talk about and our hearts are filled. We want to go into this fall season with each and every one of you. We want to see more promotions. We want to see more paid at title. We want to see more of you going live. We want to see more of your cameras turned on. And all of that equates to your dreams. What we talked about at the beginning of the call. In order to get there, we need to see all of that. And we're here for it. We're here to support you. We're showing up every Tuesday, whether we're robots or not, we're here. We're here for it. So you guys have a very blessed evening. The replay will be out. If we served you in any capacity tonight, or if you served yourself, if you had an aha moment, anything at all that turned on, please share this link with your team members. Invite them to subscribe to the Dreamstruck, you know, link, so that way they can get the training. If they're busy, they can watch the replay. But we encourage you to, you know, to pay this forward and help other people interrupt their limited belief patterns as well. So y'all have a great night. And I just want to say thank you to all of my friends, all of my panelists, all of my team members, everyone that showed up tonight. And we're going to do this all over again next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central, with a new topic. Y'all have a blessed night.